News Hour tonight. Kaduna Textile Workers protest over unpaid benefits. Political parties INEC set for by-election showdown. Police arrest church leaders over child flogging video in Rivers. And on the foreign scene, at least 40 dead in Sudan's worst cholera outbreak in years. Hello, good evening and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa and thank you so much for joining us. Now, widows and orphans of workers from Kaduna's defunct textile factories have staged a peaceful protest lamenting that they have been left to suffer for over 2 decades without receiving their late husband's entitlements. Gathering at the gate of the Kaduna textile premises on Thursday, the women joined members of the coalition of closed and unpaid textile workers association to demand urgent intervention from President Bola Tinubu, Governor Ubasani and other northern leaders. Trust TV's Bello Musa has the details.
Many of the protesters say their breadwinners died years ago, leaving them to raise children without any financial support.
My husband, a staff member of Kaduna Textiles, died 18 years ago, just 2 years after the company shut down. Without receiving his entitlements, I was left with 8 children, one of whom later died. Since then, we have struggled to feed and care for the rest. As I speak, we can barely survive. We plead with the president and other leaders to come to our aid. We are dying slowly.
Another widow, Mrs. Fatu Dom, accused northern leaders of abandoning them, while Mrs. Adama David echoed the same pain.
We are truly suffering. Many of our men have died, and others are still dying without receiving a single kobo of their entitlements. That is why we are begging those responsible to pay us. God is watching, and He will judge them in the afterlife. Most of our children have dropped out of school because we cannot afford their education. We are Nigerians, we are Northerners. We should not be abandoned. Our men are gone, and those still alive are too old to work.
In fact, I don't know whether we are paid. Are we being paid? No!
Chairman of the Coalition of Closed and Unpaid Textile Workers Association, J.B. Wondom, said thousands of workers had died without receiving a kobo in gratuity.
With a total workforce of over 2,000 workers, also of Kaduna Textile Limited, KTL, closed in 2002, with a total workforce of over 3,000 workers, and Nortex Fantex workers that gathered here closed in 2003. Now, this means was closed without the payment of our total entitlement, which is the gratuity of the entire workers. As we are talking, the total workforce of our workers at that time was over 10,000. Today, out of that 10,000, in fact, the widows, workers, over 3,000 workers have died without.
He added that the widows and orphans have vowed to continue pressing for their entitlements, insisting their demand are not just a plea for survival, but a fight for justice. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna. Bello Musa.
Now, the Nigeria Labour Congress on Thursday issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government over its failure to constitute the governing board of the National Pension Commission. The Labour Centre also accused the government of diverting workers' funds through the Nigerian Social Insurance Fund Trust Fund, according to a communique signed by its president, Joe Ajero. The Central Working Committee of the NLC met on Wednesday, August 13, 2025, to deliberate on urgent issues affecting Nigerian workers, the trade union movement, and the nation at large. The meeting addressed the leadership crisis in Edo State Council of the NLC, what it described as alarming development in the NSITF the governance vacuum in Pencom and the border state of the nation. The communique noted that the CWC expressed outrage at the ongoing assault on workers' social protection rights through the federal government's diversion of 40% of workers' contributions to the national coffers and as revenue, describing it as a flagrant violation of the statute establishing the NSITF. Equally commendable, it is the new administration's false claim of ownership of the NLC national headquarters, a property owned by Nigerian workers, the resort to cyber and media bullying of the trade union and leadership, coupled with covert moves to amend the NSITF Act in the manner that will disfranchise workers and give the government full control over the funds. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, has raised the alarm over what it calls a desperate and dangerous plot by elements within government to undermine and destabilize Saturday's by-election. The allegation was made at a press conference in Kaduna, led by former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, alongside other senior ADC officials, accusing government officials of holding secret meetings with top INEC personnel from Abuja. Trust TV's Bello Musa has the details.
The ADC's National Vice Chairman, Northwest Jafar Sani, alleged that the Kaduna State government has compelled the 23 local government chairmen to contribute 30 million naira each to sabotage the election.
The Kaduna State government compelled the 23 local governments to contribute 30 million naira each to its election sabotage fund for the by-election in the by-elections in Chikun Kajuru Federal Constituency and state constituencies in Zaria and Sabongari. Further financial support from Abuja of about 4.8 billion has been provided to facilitate the sabotage of the elections through vote buying, compromise of electoral officials, and corruption of security agents.
The ADC has appealed to the security agencies and INEC to ensure fairness and impartiality in the conduct of the polls.
So I have no questions to answer. I just want to add that the parties, the coalition, has submitted petitions to the Commissioner of Police, Kaduna State, and drawing attention to this information, and to INEC for their action.
Shortly after, the Kaduna State government dismissed the allegations, described them as baseless and malicious, aimed at tarnishing the image of the administration of Governor Ubasani.
Let it be clear, Kaduna State government has no hand whatsoever in the conduct of elections. That responsibility belongs exclusively to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, which is fully capable of defending its process and integrity without the unsolicited sympathy from confused political actors seeking for relevance.
It's the political democratic elected government will have a way of running elections and will have a way of running government. We don't have to take public funds to do election. He's just lying. How can we take 30 billion naira each local government? Is disappointing. There's nothing like that, and they should bring evidence. As the Commissioner for Information said, we hand it over to the legal people to give us some legal advice. But this is not surprising.
Meanwhile, in a bid to ensure a peaceful exercise, political parties in Kaduna have signed a peace accord. The event, held at the police officers' mess in Kaduna, was attended by security agencies, INEC officials, and party leaders.
We are here to sign a peace accord between various political parties that are engaged in this by-election here in Kajuru Chukum Federal Constituency. We have the state constituency in Samaru and in Zaria City state constituency. We are appealing to the contestant, we are appealing to the parties to play by the rules of the game We want a peaceful conduct of the election. We want all the politicians to please abide by the rules of the game.
Well, this is a welcome development because if you can see or you can remember, the All Progressive Congress APC not to believe in the rule of law. And in fact, we are the first beneficiaries of the peaceful coexistence and peaceful conduct of election. If you can remember how we emerged in 2015. So the APC is highly in compliance with all these peace accord signing.
And that was why we came in our full. But before we append to signature, we say we don't want this to be more like a ceremonial, fulfilling all righteousness, come and sign and go, where security agents will not do their work as expected. The INEC officers supposed to be independent, they will not be independent. And that was why we raised some fundamental issue that we needed to be addressed before we signed the peace accord.
The by-election filled vacancies in Kaduna Federal Constituency, the State House of Assembly seat for Basawa and in Sabongari, Tudunwada, and Zaria Kewe constituencies in Zaria and Sabongari local government areas. Linda Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
5 political parties, the APC, PDP, APGA, ADC and Zenith Labour Party, contesting the 2025 Ibadan North Federal Constituency by-election, have signed a peace accord declaring their readiness for the August 16th poll. The peace pact was signed at the Independent National Electoral Commission headquarters in Ibadan. Here's the report.
Speaking at the event, the Oyo State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Tella Deniro, noted that all participating parties met the required regulations and guidelines. He described the by-election as critical to filling the vacant seat left by the late Olaide Akinremi in Ibadan North Federal Constituency. Adeniro said voting will take place in 512 polling units from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. on Saturday and urged political candidates, the 2,062 registered voters and other stakeholders to remain law-abiding to ensure a transparent, credible and peaceful process.
I equally urge political parties and candidates to adhere to peace accord signed here today, and there should not be any form of voters' intimidation on election day. At the moment, we have gotten 18 accredited media organizations to cover this Saturday by-election. The concerned media organizations are therefore urged to collect their media tax for the coverage accordingly.
A cross-section of candidates also shared their expectations for the election.
I'm hoping that we will all abide by what we have signed and that there will indeed be a credible, free and fair election. That's what I hope would happen as a result of what has gone on here today. As a person, and on behalf of my party, the ADC, we are committed to ensuring that the elections are credible, and we will do everything that we need to do to ensure that on our part, we keep the pact that we have signed.
I'm expecting the voters of Ibadan North Federal Constituency to come out peacefully to cast their votes on that day, and they should make sure that there is peace.
Basically, it's for people to not have any kind of fear. The security is guaranteed and people should be free to go and express themselves democratically on Saturday. They should vote for the right candidate.
The Resident Electoral Commissioner further announced that the 12 wards within the affected federal constituency, including Bodija, Ikoloba, Ijokodo, Shongo, Mokola and others, will be closed to socio-economic activities from 12 a.m. on Saturday. He said only accredited voters and election officials will be permitted to move within the area during voting hours.
The Independent National Electoral Commission on Wednesday officially flagged off activities for the August 2026 Osun State governorship election. This comes as politicians, security agencies and other stakeholders express their readiness for the poll. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbadi reports.
The 2026 Osun governorship election is scheduled for August 8, 2026. The process formally began with INEC's official notice announcing the commencement of the electoral activities.
With this notice, all activities that will culminate into the 2026 governorship election in Osun State has commenced. Going by the timetable released by the headquarters of the Commission, the conduct of the party primaries, including resolution of disputes arising from the primary, will start on the 24th day of November 2025 and end on the 15th day of December 2025.
Osun State has 1,954,800 registered voters, of which 1,594,006 have collected their permanent voter cards. Meanwhile, 360,794 permanent voter cards are yet to be collected. Political watchers expect the main contest to be between three parties: the People's Democratic Party (PDP), the African Democratic Congress (ADC), and the All Progressive Congress (APC). While politicians have expressed their readiness for the election, stakeholders are calling for a process that is free, fair, and credible.
Osun election is becoming a three-horse race now, not the two as we expected. Now ADC is in the offing, and they will come with their own surprise.
I have been working assiduously to ensure that what we call land management, what we call agric revolution, will be brought to bear in Osun State. And we are going to reinvent our financial policies that it will become possible for the state to survive with or without allocations from the federal government. That is not possible today as a result of the fact that the government in existence has not been able to generate plans that will guarantee this.
INEC has also announced that the Continuous Voter Registration (CVR) will begin on August 18, 2025. The electoral body encouraged residents who have not yet registered, especially those who have just reached voting age, to do so in order to participate in the polls. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
The Borno State Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has said that voter registration for 2025 will not be conducted in 4 local governments due to threats of insurgency. It disclosed this during a press briefing at its Borno head office in Maiduguri for the official launch of the 2025 Continuous Voters Registration. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner Abubakar Maji said the exercise in affected communities, namely Abadam, Guzamala, Kalabalge, and Marte local governments, will be done in Maiduguri. He noted that more than 66,072 permanent voters' cards still remain uncollected, attributing the collection failure to flood and insurgency. The Resident Commissioner stressed that INEC has addressed related issues of beavers in affected communities ahead of the 2027 elections.
Provisions have been made for them to come and register the nearest, safest possible place. However, the process is a 1-year process, and it's cascades and is devolved through to areas where, if possible, our staff will have the necessary security backing to go and do the registration as much as possible. ANEC is aware of this and is trying to do its best within those areas. You see, at the risk of going into other details and all that, before this press briefing, we just had an excess meeting. All these concerns were raised, and some of the issues that we have not resolved here, we are forwarding to the headquarters to consider.
Still on election matters, ahead of the 2027 polls, the Obedient Movement supporters of 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi is urging Nigerians to resist election rigging as they key into electing credible leaders. National Coordinator Yunus Tanko cited flaws in past elections and called for stronger citizen vigilance to safeguard the vote.
They are allegedly positioned that even the election may not take place. Allegedly. And we are now violating any law. What we did was that we are speaking to our Nigerian obedient to go out and register. Registration is part of the key indices of any politicking. And INEC has already said they are going to start registration of voters on the 18th. And so it is very important for us to go out and mobilize our people so that we will not be shortchanged.
Now, the Police Service Commission, PSC, says it has met with representatives of the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory to fine-tune preparations for an improved, transparent and credible 2025 police recruitment exercise. The head press and public relations of the PSC, Ikechukwu Ani, in a statement said the commission will be recruiting cadets, ASPs and constables. He said the meeting with the representative was themed collaborative approach for a transparent and equitable police recruitment process. Addressing the meeting, PSC chairman DIG Hashim Arugungu, retired, said the commission will work with the state governments to ensure a transparent and equitable recruitment process. He said the state governments should be prepared to protect their quota and avoid hijacks of the exercise in their states. Arugungu said the commission has decided to eradicate connivance and resisting trading and purchase of slots, stressing that special consideration will not be allowed to supplant merit and equity. Still, police in Rivers State have arrested 3 church leaders after a viral video surfaced showing minors being whipped during what was described as a spiritual cleansing ceremony. The divisional police officer of Eneka Police Station, Akpo Louis, confirmed the arrest of Pastor Ifedora Joseph, Church Welfare Secretary Promise Nwakega, and Minister Deborah Ohia. The now viral video shows children aged between 5 and 9 being struck with palm tree leaves by cleric during a church ceremony. In the footage, the cleric whips each child multiple times before handing them over to another church member who directs them to a separate group described as cleansed. It was observed that the parents of the children were present and acknowledged that they were aware of the ceremony and they had approved it. Speaking to journalists after being busted by the police, the pastor and suspect Joseph stated that the spiritual cleansing act in the viral video was not self-inspired but revelatory. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Lagos residents claim over 100 families made homeless seek government's help. The Samoa will return. To stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is News Hour on Trust TV. In case you missed it, here's a recap of our top stories again. We told you that Arewa textile workers protest over unpaid benefits, and political parties INEC set for by-election showdown. Now to more stories. Trust TV, the television arm of Media Trust Group, Abuja, has celebrated its 4th year anniversary, marking 4 years of excellence and growth in television broadcasting. The multiple industry award-winning station has in the past 4 years metamorphosed into one of Nigeria's Africa's fastest growing TV channels. Aisha Abdul-Muminu was at the event and now reports.
At a brief anniversary event, the group's CEO Ahmed Ibrahim Shakarawu commended the station's staff for their tireless contribution to the growth of the company and spoke about the upcoming newsroom convergence initiative aimed at boosting operations.
From what we are doing
we are quite confident that before this time next year, hopefully Trust TV will actually break even, and we will jolt, our competitors, once we get to that stage where we are able to break even.
Editorial Director Ibrahim Shehu highlighted the company's achievements over the years, from winning awards to gaining national and international recognition.
We are not where we want to be, but the journey is still on. At the business side, we are also growing little by little, but also the company is transitioning into a converged newsroom where probably we'll have to leverage on our colleagues from other subsidiaries. Hopefully that will improve our storytelling across TV, newspaper, and also digital. And we hope that that will also show in the kind of content we do on the TV, and will also improve our rating.
One of the company's consultants congratulated the team for their remarkable performance and consistent dedication to documenting the Nigerian story.
By setting yourselves as the station that is documenting Nigeria, that's quite a big ask. It's a tough one, and when you talk about especially documentaries, it's probably the most expensive, most time-consuming part of television. And I congratulate you for not deciding to take the shortcut, the short route to success. That's very tempting.
Other speakers lauded the overall performance of Trust TV over the years, stating that resilience and dedication have built the organization into what it is today. Aisha Abdulmuminu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has clarified that Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, Ogun State, was not the target of its recent operation in which 93 suspected internet fraudsters were arrested. The management of the Presidential Library on Wednesday demanded $3.5 billion in compensation and a public apology from the EFCC, describing the operation as an invasion of private property and an infringement of the OOPL's rights as a corporate entity, as well as a stark and blatant violation of the rights of the people who gathered for the event. In a statement on Thursday, EFCC's head of media and publicity, Dele Oyewole, said the arrests were made at a hostel located within the precincts of the OOPL. He added that the arrest followed intelligence that the suspects were holding a pool party to celebrate alleged illicit activities. Oyewole said the party, originally scheduled to hold in 2 different locations, was moved to the hostel in OOPL in an attempt to avoid detection. Now, tension is rising in the Ajegule area of Lagos as residents have accused a traditional ruler of orchestrating violent and unlawful property seizure. Leading a protest under the hashtag End Oba Ojora illegal seizure of houses in Ajegule, the residents are accusing Oba Fatai Oyegbemi Aromire, the Ojora of Ijora, of masterminding a series of violent and unlawful property seizure. Here's the report.
Speaking to Trust TV on Tuesday at the Layin Kabara Junction, community members, including traders, artisans, teachers, pensioners, and parents, alleged that on August 7, 2025, feuded thugs linked to the monarch stormed their streets, demolished roof, and rendered more than 100 families homeless. They claim the attacks are part of a long-running scheme in which residents are forced to pay 7,500 naira annually as royalty or face violent eviction.
Many lives of people that their roof and properties were destroyed are currently being threatened. Yes. And this demand is sacrosanct, and we are not going to relent until it's achieved. Yes, the Nigerian Constitution guarantees us freedom of speech, yes, freedom of expression, yes, freedom to life, yes, freedom to dignity, yes, and freedom to good health. Yes. So therefore, and our last is an end to a culture of impunity that allow any traditional ruler, politician, or land grabber to trample on the rights of the citizen.
Residents say they have now presented a 5-point demand to the authorities in response to what they describe as weeks of intimidation and destruction allegedly ordered by the Ojora of Ijora.
We received the book notice from the Oba of Ijora saying our post was forced, which we are also countering now that is not forced. We are talking with proof, we are talking with evidence, we are talking with facts. Yes. And we want the Commissioner of Police to invite those people, those capitals, those family of Ojora who have come to remove roofs, looted people's property, as if we don't have law in Nigeria or in Lagos State. We want to arrest our issue for now, pending when we want to receive the governor physically. He should not call them, they will give him false information. We want him to come in person, to come and see things himself.
I'm living witness to this as well. So, and at the end, he received 4 million naira. After receiving the 4 million naira, the talks are still coming. The last time they came was on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. They tried to demolish the house. They removed the roof. They did a lot of things that particular day. So, and they are still threatening us that they are coming back because somebody has bought the building. They said the house has been sold since about 4 years ago, which is unknown to us.
A retired warrant officer of the Nigerian Army, Echimam Israel, also recounted his audio saying his home was attacked by the thugs, leaving him without shelter or possessions.
It affected me seriously. One, because all my property were scattered. My door was broken. And also, my TV, I don't know where it is now. My TV in my house. I could not hold myself. I was thinking, trying to shout, what is the problem? What are you doing? They did not hear. This is very surprising. I've served the army for how many years? Over 30 years. The little thing I've got as my property were scattered. Sorry. Like my property were scattered. My children, before they could come and remove some of them, let me go and keep them, they have scattered everything. So that is the problem. This should not, even the Ojora family should reason well and not to suffer people like this. A government should come to our aid. I don't know how to regain again what I've picked together one by one, because I've not got any house in this Lagos.
The residents have appealed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and the Inspector General of Police to intervene. They warn that if the alleged impunity in Ajegunle is not addressed, similar incidents could spread to other communities such as Agege, Badagry, and Lekki.
The Federal Capital Territory FCT Civil Service Commission has begun a computer-based promotion examination for 915 assistant and deputy directors. The chairman of the commission, Emeka Eze, said at the event in Abuja that the directors were drawn from the Universal Basic Education Board, Secondary Education Board, Education Secretariat, and other departments and agencies. Eze said that the examination will be conducted in phases.
It's a promotion exam. They're already in service. All of them today are deputy directors, and of course also we need to underscore the point that promotion is subject to vacancy. So by the time the exam is over, the top candidates will occupy the vacant positions, and those who don't get to this thing will continue in their present position as deputy directors. The defense is simple. If you can't operate it, it means you can't answer your questions.
Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has pledged to lead a campaign in support of troops wounded in battle and families of fallen heroes who paid the ultimate price in the fight against Boko Haram terrorism. He made the pledge during a courtesy visit by the president of the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association to the Borno State Government House in Maiduguri for the launch of the Thank You Troops campaign aimed at appreciating frontline soldiers and those wounded in action. The governor also received the Chief of Air Staff, where he stressed the need to strengthen air manpower to consolidate military gains against terrorism. Trust TV's Bitrus Kurusi has more.
Governor Zulum reaffirmed his administration's commitment to supporting troops and their families. He highlighted the sacrifices and challenges faced by security forces in areas such as Baga before resettlement exercise began, and reiterated plans to build on military successes by returning more displaced persons to their communities. Meanwhile, the POA president and wife of the Chief of Defense Staff, Lillian Christopher Musa, pledged to complement government efforts in uplifting widows, orphans, youth, and the less privileged within and outside the barracks.
Your programs for widows and orphans, your scholarship schemes for children of the fallen, and your social interventions initiatives are shining examples of compassionate leadership in action. Your Excellency, sir, the truth is that no medal, no plaque, and no ceremony can ever truly equal the weight of the sacrifices our soldiers and security operatives make daily, especially here in Borno State.
Inshallah, we shall work with the Nigerian military to ensure that the resettlement will soon take place in all the areas that we don't have human settlement. I also want to assure you that the government of Borno State will do everything possible to motivate the officers and men that are on ground, because their welfare means a lot to the government and people of Borno State.
Meanwhile, Governor Zulum has restated his commitment to partner the Nigerian Air Force and other stakeholders to consolidate gains and bridge operational gaps in the fight against insurgency. He spoke during a courtesy visit by the Chief of Air Staff, Hassan Abubakar, to the Borno State Government House in Maiduguri on Tuesday. The governor commended the Nigerian Air Force for its role in combating insecurity and emphasized the need for increased air manpower in strategic areas, including the Lake Chad shores, Sambisa Forest, Timbuktu Triangle, and Mandara Hills, to sustain peace in the northeast. In response, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar praised Zulum's Borno model of de-radicalization, reconciliation, and reintegration for repentant terrorists, noting its positive impact on security and community life.
The enormous contribution to the enhancement of peace and security in the state by the Nigerian Air Force. We still need more in terms of air power in our general AOI, especially in the shores of the Lake Chad, Sambisa, Timbuktu Triangle, and indeed the Mandara Hills.
Remarkably, the Air Force, recorded within the first 8 months of this year, has already surpassed the entire totals achieved in the whole of last year. This is a clear indication of a deliberate commitment to intensifying pressure on terrorist elements and accelerating the restoration of peace and stability in the Northeast region.
It is hoped that the visit will further strengthen the campaign against terrorism in the Northeast. Bitrus Kurusi, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Now, Nigerian youths have been urged to openly express their political aspirations and actively contribute to national development. This appeal was made by Baba Iyali during the declaration of the National Youth Council of Nigeria in Abuja. Trust TV's correspondent has more in this report.
Baba Iyali said the call became necessary in view of recent report from National Bureau of Statistics, which highlighted the unemployment crisis hindering youth contribution to country's progress. He urged National Youth Council aspirant Umar Lawyer to carry other young people along and work towards making Nigerian youth more vibrant and united.
We are going to see a lot of innovations if elected. We are going to see a lot of policies and programs, because the advantage is always very easy to gauge somebody whom has been tested. And he was tested at the level of Bauchi State as the chairman of the youth in Bauchi State. And he has done remarkably well when he was the chairman of Youth Council of Nigeria Bauchi State chapter. Is it empowerment program? Is it intervention in educational matters? Is it so many things that he has displayed as the chairman of Bauchi State Youth Council of Nigeria Bauchi State chapter?
National Youth Council aspirant Umar Lawyer described the call as timely, given the low number of youth participating in politics. He outlined his mission to include empowering young people through skills acquisition, establishing industry to serve as economic powerhouses, and fostering youth unity among Nigerian youth.
Empowerment through skills, innovations, and job opportunities. Sport is a major unifier in this 21st century. We can use this channel to unite our youth to be under one umbrella, inshallah. We will do all our possible best to collaborate with the Nollywood, Kannywood, and the rest to have and creative industries. With your support and uniform organization, in Allah, with support of student leaders and youth leaders, will revive the leadership of youth and student bodies across the nation. Inshallah, we will have one Nigeria, one youth voice.
Lawyer pledged to transform the fortunes of Nigerian youth and vowed commitment to addressing negative tendencies among them. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, Governor Umar Namadi of Jigawa State has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to empowering young people as a catalyst for sustainable development in Jigawa State. Speaking at an event to mark the 2025 International Youth Day themed Local Youth Action for the SDGs and beyond, the governor emphasized the need to align youth-led initiative with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The report.
Governor Namadi noted that young people have the potential to accelerate progress towards the 2030 agenda. He outlined his administration's diverse youth empowerment initiatives, which include entrepreneurship development, skills acquisition, and targeted interventions. According to the governor, nearly 10,000 youths have benefited from employment and support schemes such as J-Agro, agricultural extension workers, J-Health for junior and senior health staff, J-Teach for teaching staff, as well as J-Care for community care service. While commending the potential of Jigawa's youth, Governor Namadi cautioned against political thuggery, cultism, and drug abuse.
For us in Jigawa State, the celebration serves as a platform to further promote youth engagement and celebrate their contributions to the progress and future of our society. The socio-economic development of our people and the sustenance of unity and peaceful coexistence among the population of Jigawa State. On behalf of the government and people of Jigawa State, I profoundly extend my heartfelt appreciation to the youth of Jigawa State for your steadfast support.
As we celebrate this International Day, I call on all stakeholders, government, private sector, civil society, and communities to continue working hand in hand to nurture the dreams of our youth and give them the confidence to shape the future they ambition. Once again, I congratulate the youth of Jigawa State.
The governor also congratulated the newly elected leadership of the Nigeria Youth Council, Jigawa State chapter, pledging moral and institutional support for their programs. His leadership received commendation from political groups, including the Modi Forum, for his visionary governance.
Your Excellency, in agriculture, Jigawa State has been known with agriculture all over the world, particularly the economic distribution to amplify the Jigawa State protected in terms of food security in Nigeria is well known. We are all aware when the African Development Bank and the government of Nigeria came to see how they can expand wheat production in Nigeria. Out of 100 hectares, Jigawa State will be 40 hectares to cultivate. Under the guidance of His Excellency, the Governor of Jigawa State, we are committed to building a future where every young person in Jigawa State has the opportunity to learn and grow and live. Over the past 2 years, we have witnessed remarkable strides in various forms of programs, from vocational trainings and digital literacy to entrepreneurship, support and job creation. These initiatives are not just projects, but they are investment in the future of Jigawa State.
In a related development, Governor Namadi flagged off the distribution of 287 motorcycles to councillors across the state's 27 local government areas. The initiative aims to enhance mobility and efficiency in delivering constitutional duties at the grassroots. Reaffirming his stance, Governor Namadi stressed that youth empowerment will remain central to Jigawa's sustainable development agenda, ensuring that opportunities for growth, skills acquisition, and decent work reach every corner of the state.
And now in business, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says President Bola Tinubu's economic reform has been a step in the right direction, and he has to be given the credit for stabilizing the economy. She spoke on Thursday after visiting President Tinubu at his residence at the State House, Abuja, just before he departed for a two-nation visit to Brazil and Japan. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, however, cautioned that beyond stabilizing the economy, the president was now burdened with the task of putting in social safety nets to support people feeling the pinch of the reform. The WTO Director General also briefed the President on the latest initiative by the global body, which is Women Exporters Fund for the Digital Economy. Over 67,000 Nigerian women will benefit from the fund, which will be jointly managed by the WTO and the International Trade Center in Geneva.
So we think that the president and his team, and we just exchanged with him, have worked hard to stabilize the economy. And you cannot really improve an economy unless it's stable. So he has to be given the credit for the stability of the economy. So the reforms have been in the right direction. What is needed next is growth. We now need to grow the economy, and we need to put in social safety nets so that people who are feeling the pinch of the reforms can also have some support to be able to weather the hardship.
Now away from Nigeria, cholera has claimed at least 40 lives in Sudan's Darfur region over the last week as the country's weathered its worst outbreak in years, Doctors Without Borders said on Thursday. A cholera isolation tent, a Sudanese displacement camp, an AFP journalist saw women and young girls receiving intravenous fluid while exhausted and weak patients sprawled on camp bed, citing rising cases of cholera, which exacerbates the worst effects of malnutrition. The European Union called on all parties to urgently allow in international aid. Medical charity MSF said the vast western region, which has been a major battleground over more than 2 years of fighting between the regular army and the paramilitary rapid support RSF, had been hardest hit by the year-old outbreak. The NGO said 2,470 cholera-related deaths had been reported in the year to August 11th out of 99,700 suspected cases. Now it's time for us to join Adeni Ajishafe for more news on sports.
Nigerian sprinter Grace Nwokocha is free to return to the track after completing a 3-year doping ban imposed by the Athletic Integrity Unit (AIU). Nwokocha, a member of Nigeria's women's 4x100-meter relay gold medal winning team at the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games, tested positive for ostarine and dehydroxy-LGD during the competition. Both substances are banned at all times under the Commonwealth Games Federation's anti-doping rules. Grace Nwokocha ran the anchor leg at the Alexander Stadium in a quartet that had Tobias Musa, Favour Philly, and Rosemary Chukwuma, fending off opposition from England's Daryl Nater and Jamaica Elaine Thompson-Herah to claim gold medal in an African record time of 42.10 seconds. The AIU provisionally suspended her on August 21st, 2022, and in March 2023, the GGF court found her guilty of anti-doping violations. Nwokocha accepted the ruling in the case resolution agreement, with the ban backdated to August 3rd, 2022 and ending on August 2nd, 2025. The ban saw Nigeria stripped of the gold medal, with England, who placed second, promoted to first position, while Jamaica were moved up to second and Australia third. The sanction forced Nwokocha to miss 2023 World Athletics Championship, 2023 African Games, 2024 African Senior Athletics Championship, and the Paris 2024 Olympics. Grace will also miss the 2025 World Athletics Championship in Tokyo, though we have time to prepare for the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland. Before a ban, Nwokocha, one of Nigeria's brightest young talents, won bronze at the 2019 African Junior Championship, 100-meter and 200-meter gold at the National Sports Festival in Edo State, semi-finalists of both Tokyo 2020 Olympics and the Oregon 2022 World Championship. Nwokocha joined North Carolina A&T in the United States and named the school's Women's Track Athlete of the Year in 2022. The 6th fastest Nigerian in history in the women's 100-meter with a personal best of 10.97 seconds and the 7th fastest in the 200-meter with a personal best of 12.44 seconds. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Achisofe.
And with that, we have come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to watch and catch us across our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentaries. I'm Fatima Ahmed Musa. From me and the crew, thanks for watching.